Former President Donald Trump clashed once again with a CNN reporter, this time targeting Kaitlan Collins. During a heated exchange, Trump criticized Collins, refusing to answer certain questions and dismissing her attempts to fact-check him. Known for his tense relationship with the media, Trump has frequently sparred with reporters, especially those from CNN. This latest confrontation follows a pattern of his past interactions, where he often pushes back against journalists he perceives as adversarial. Collins, a prominent CNN anchor, remained firm in her questioning despite Trump's interruptions. The exchange quickly gained attention, with supporters and critics reacting strongly. As Trump remains a central figure in politics, his ongoing battles with the press continue to fuel public debate.
Been done by Biden years ago. This should have never been allowed to happen. I know he's a friend of yours.
But couldn't Putin just withdraw his
He's a friend of
today?
CNN. That's why nobody watches CNN anymore, because they have no credibility. Okay, who else? Yes, please.
Donald Trump was visibly unimpressed with the persistent questioning from CNN reporter Kaitlan Collins. As she pressed him for answers, he grew increasingly frustrated, refusing to engage with her directly. When it was finally time to take questions from the press, Trump made a deliberate point to skip over Collins, ignoring her attempts to speak. His tense relationship with the media, especially CNN, has been well documented, and this latest exchange was no exception. Collins remained firm despite being sidelined, continuing to push for responses. The moment quickly sparked reactions from both Trump's supporters and critics, further highlighting his ongoing clashes with journalists who challenge him.
Okay. Go ahead.
You won the White House in part.
Yes.
Online commentators reacted with amusement to the spectacle, with many mocking the exchange. One person suggested that Kaitlan Collins should be left out of the press pool for a while, arguing that she failed to follow proper Oval Office etiquette. Another commentator agreed, praising Trump for standing up to what they called fake news. They applauded his willingness to call out biased reporting and interrupting tactics, saying he keeps the media in check, one fiery response at a time. But Trump wasn't finished. The former president doubled down, taking further aim at CNN and blasting the network for what he described as unfair coverage. His criticism of the media has long been a signature aspect of his public persona, and this latest clash only fueled the ongoing debate. As always, his supporters rallied behind him, while critics pointed to the confrontation as another example of his combative approach to the press.
President, you won the White House in part because of high inflation. If your tariffs make prices go up...
We haven't asked you to speak yet, please.
And Trump still wasn't finished. Even while ranting about Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell, he found a way to take another swipe at Kaitlan Collins. Slipping her name into his criticism, he mocked the CNN reporter once again, making it clear he hadn't moved on from their earlier exchange. His repeated jabs at Collins underscored his ongoing feud with the media, particularly CNN. Supporters cheered his no-nonsense approach, while critics saw it as another example of his hostility toward journalists. The fiery back and forth only added to the already intense spectacle, keeping the debate over media bias alive.
K. Jr. as the next health secretary, citing conspiracy theories. What's your reaction to that?
Well, I feel sorry for Mitch. And I was one of the people that led. He wanted to go to the end and he wanted to stay leader. He's not equipped mentally. He wasn't equipped 10 years ago mentally, in my opinion. He'd let the Republican Party go to hell. If I didn't come along, the Republican Party wouldn't even exist right now. Mitch McConnell never really had it. He had an ability to raise money because of his position as leader, which anybody could do. You could do it even. And that's saying a lot.
When asked about the idea of Robert F. Kennedy Jr. becoming the next health secretary, citing conspiracy theories, Trump quickly shifted gears, expressing pity for Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell. "Well, I feel sorry for Mitch," Trump responded before launching into a scathing critique. "You and I both know I was one of the people who led. He wanted to stay in power, but he just wasn't capable. He wasn't equipped mentally, and in my opinion, he wasn't equipped 10 years ago either." Trump continued his attack, blaming McConnell for what he sees as the Republican Party's decline. "He would have let the Republican Party go to hell if I hadn't stepped in. If I didn't come along, the Republican Party wouldn't even exist right now." Doubling down, Trump dismissed McConnell's political influence, arguing that his only real skill was raising money due to his leadership position. That's something anyone could do. You could do it, even you, and that's saying a lot, he quipped, taking a jab at the interviewer. Trump's comments reinforced his long-standing animosity toward McConnell, whom he has frequently criticized for failing to support his agenda. The fiery remarks highlighted the deep divisions within the Republican Party's leadership.
That's the question that investigators have, I think, is why you held on to those documents when you knew the federal government was seeking them and then had given you a subpoena to return them.
Are you ready? Are you ready? Can I talk?
Yeah, what's
You
the
mind?
answer?
Do you mind?
I would like for you to answer the question.
Okay, it's very simple to answer.
That's why I asked it.
It's very simple to you. You're a nasty person, I'll tell you.
This wasn't the first time Donald Trump and CNN's Kaitlan Collins had a heated exchange. The two have a well-documented history of tense confrontations. Collins, known for her persistent questioning, has frequently challenged Trump during press briefings and interviews, often leading to sharp exchanges. Their clashes date back to Trump's presidency, where he'd occasionally dismissed her questions, criticized her reporting, and even barred her from certain events. Despite this, Collins has remained firm in her approach, continuing to press him on key issues. Their latest face-off only added to their ongoing rivalry, with Trump once again making her a target of his media attacks. The moment further fueled debates over press freedom and Trump's adversarial stance toward journalists.
Which White House official made the decision to bar the AP reporter from the Oval Office and the diplomatic reception room last week?
Well, first of all, let me just set the record straight. It is a privilege to cover this White House. It's a privilege to be the White House press secretary. And nobody has the right to go into the Oval Office and ask the President of the United States questions. That's an invitation that is given. And there are hundreds of outlets on this campus, many of you in this room who don't have the privilege of being part of that pool every single day and getting to ask the President questions. We reserve the right to decide who gets to go into the Oval Office, and you all have credentials to be here, including the Associated Press, who is in this briefing room today.
Retaliatory in nature is the argument, because the reason that the AP was barred, which they said was because they're not using the phrase Gulf of America, they're using Gulf of Mexico in line with their standards. So the question here is this setting a precedent that this White House will retaliate against reporters who don't use the language that you guys believe reporters should use? And how does that align with the First Amendment commitment?
I was very upfront in my briefing on day one that if we feel that there are lies being pushed by outlets in this room, we are going to hold those lies accountable. And it is a fact that the body of water off the coast of Louisiana is called the Gulf of America. And I'm not sure why news outlets don't want to call it that.
It's not just Donald Trump pushing back against Kaitlan Collins and her mainstream media colleagues. White House Press Secretary Karoline L. also issued a stark warning to Collins, reinforcing the administration's stance against what they see as biased reporting. Collins, known for her persistent questioning, has frequently clashed with Trump and his team. The warning from Karoline L. signals that the tensions between the administration and certain media outlets remain high. This latest exchange highlights the ongoing battle between Trump's allies and mainstream journalists, fueling debates over press freedom, media bias, and the role of reporters in holding politicians accountable. One commentator doubled down on Karoline L.'s warning, criticizing Kaitlan Collins for her behavior. "You need some lessons in protocol and probably a manners class," they remarked. Being in the Oval Office is a privilege. They went on to express hope that Collins' disrespect toward the president wouldn't be ignored and that there would be consequences for her actions. The commentator also called on CNN to take responsibility, insisting the network should not support what they saw as her insubordination. The exchange further fueled the ongoing debate over media conduct and press freedom. Enjoyed the video? Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more updates.